Hi everyone, Emily Teacher here, and today we're reading an American classic. When Lorraine Hansberry's play A Raisin in the Sun opened in New York on March 11th, 1959, it was a momentous day in the history of the American theater. A Raisin in the Sun was the first play written by an African American woman to appear on Broadway. It opened up the American theater to African Americans and broadened people's perceptions of the African American experience in society. The reviews were overwhelmingly favorable. Even its staunchest supporters could not have predicted the impact the play would have on the American theater. It went on to win the coveted New York Drama Critics Circle Award for Best Play of the Year. The opposition for the award was formidable, including works by two of America's greatest playwrights, Tennessee Williams and Eugene O'Neill. So while this play was going on at the same time as some plays by some of the most famous playwrights of all time, right? Tennessee Williams and Eugene O'Neill. But it still won this New York Drama Critics Circle Award, Best Play of the Year. So this play, A Raisin in the Sun, was a total hit. It was very successful. A Raisin in the Sun is about African Americans confronting oppression in their daily lives, a theme that Hansberry was painfully familiar with in her own life. In 1938, her parents bought a house in an all-white neighborhood, so they were the only family that was not white there. The bigotry of their new neighbors resulted in a legal battle over property rights. A lower court ordered the Hansberrys to move out. They said they have to leave their house. They fought the case all the way to the U.S. Supreme Court and won, but the family suffered terribly in the process. Prejudice quickly escalated into violence. When Lorraine was 8 years old, she was almost killed by a concrete slab thrown by an angry neighbor that narrowly missed her head. So they won the case, and they did not need to move out of their house, but that caused the neighbors to turn to violence to try and get them to leave, even endangering the life of Lorraine as an 8-year-old child. She had a concrete slab, so a very heavy piece of concrete that was thrown, and it almost hit her head. She could have died. Hansberry's play tells the story of Lena Younger, who has received $10,000 from her recently deceased husband's life insurance, or her husband's life insurance because her husband has recently died. Her dream is to move her family of 5 out of their cramped and rundown apartment in Chicago's South Side ghetto. She wants to use the money to buy a home in a white neighborhood, but doing that is not so simple. So this is all about the play now, right? Our Lena Younger has received a lot of money after her husband died, so she wants to move her family out of the ghetto. Mrs. Younger is pressured by her son Walter to give him the money to improve his financial state. Walter wants to invest in a store. At the same time, her daughter Benita needs money. Her dream is to attend medical school. Mrs. Younger decides to try to keep the family together by making a down payment on a house with about 1/3 of the money. She gives the remaining sum to Walter under the condition that he set aside $3,000 for his sister's tuition. The rest he may use as he wishes. So she splits the money, right? Benita gets some, Walter gets some, and she uses some for the house. Before the family moves in, a prospective white neighbor contacts Mrs. Younger and explains that he is speaking for the entire neighborhood. He offers to buy back the house at a handsome profit for Mrs. Younger. Recognizing the offer as one motivated by blatant racism, she spurns it. So a neighbor contacts and says, "We will give you a lot of money, a handsome profit, if you decide not to move to our neighborhood." And because she knows it is because of the color of her skin, she knows that it is blatant racism, so she spurns it. She says, "Absolutely not. We are moving to the neighborhood." Matters soon get even more complicated. The family learns that Walter's business partner has cheated him out of the remaining money. So Walter has lost all the money. The amount that was supposed to go toward Benita's education is gone. The play ends with Mrs. Younger holding firm against all pressures and finding the courage to face new ones. The family will move into the all-white neighborhood, with all its problems, dangers, and opportunities. A Raisin in the Sun ran for 533 performances on Broadway. Touring companies took it all over America, offering opportunities for African American actors on a scale never known before. African Americans turned out in huge numbers to see a major American play that addressed the plight of minorities trying to improve their lives. In 2014, 55 years after its Broadway premiere, the play was revived on Broadway with Denzel Washington starring as Walter. So they brought the play back after 55 years. They brought it back and they updated it. They used Denzel Washington to star in it as Walter. The revival won universal acclaim and established A Raisin in the Sun as an American classic. Thank you for reading with me today. We do have links related to each of these stories. If you want the link for this video, you can find it down in the description below.